So the final week of story for Act 2 has just wrapped up, and I wanted to share my thoughts on the overall story and the act as a whole. Even though we still have 3 weeks left in Act 2, starting next Tuesday, August 6th, it is only going to be comprised of the event Solstice of Heroes, and this video is speaking only on story and episodic activity elements. I'm going to start with the elephant in the room first, so if you haven't caught up yet and want to avoid story spoilers, make sure to go to the timestamp shown on screen. If you're still here, let's get into it. So Maya Sundaresh has finally shown herself as the main antagonist for the episode, but one thing I didn't see coming was the fact that she would be using Lakshmi 2's shell as her body. For those of you who don't know who Lakshmi 2 is, she was the old Future War cult leader in the Tower, and during Season of the Splicer, she wanted to know more about the Vex and ultimately got herself unalived by the Vex invasion on the last city towards the end of the season. In the third act, our goal is to put a stop to Maya and the creation of her new Vex, but I hope we just don't kill her off right away and just make her lose possession of the Echo. Maya is the only real Vex antagonist that we have had in Destiny's history, from my knowledge, and it would be awesome to see her in another story beat or potential content drop down the line. Now let's move on to the 3 Echo Battlegrounds that got released during this act, and personally, I thought they were a really nice touch. They of course are a great way to farm for episodic loot or to test out new weapons and builds. It's also a great way to earn higher tiered materials with the new assimilation bosses and assimilation beacon rewards from the battleground for even more loot. I also enjoyed not only the add density of all 3 battlegrounds, but I also loved how they were all technically connected to one another as you made your way down into the heart of Nessus. However, I do see the feeling that once you have all the episodic weapons crafted, there really isn't too much of a point to running this activity unless you're grinding for the exotic armor or potential episodic engrams for the reprised weapons. The one major con for this act was that the story was only 3 weeks long, as it makes the story feel super dull and boring. Making the story 6 weeks long would have helped flesh out the story of how the Conductor came to be and how they got a hold of the Echo in the first place. My hope is that they make this a potential Act 3 cinematic, but who knows at this point. It's sad to see that this will be the standard norm until episode 2, which is called Revenant, when Bungie will let us play through all the story right away. However, my concern when it comes to episode 2, and potentially episode 3 called Heresy, is that when folks complete the 9 weeks of story elements in a couple of hours or so, we are going to wonder where the rest of the content is, or just hop off and wait until the dungeons release. I personally will work on the story as much as possible, and if I complete it all right away, then so be it, but if I don't, then no harm, no foul. Now with all that being said, how does this act stack up to the first act that was released a month or so ago? I would say that this act did a little bit better in finally showcasing the main antagonist with the Conductor, as well as giving us a better list of episodic activities with the new Echo Battlegrounds. However, with the main content being only 3 weeks long, most folks have already completed the story and have crafted all the weapons as of right now, and have probably moved on to other games if they're not doing Salvation's Edge or preparing builds for future GM Nightfalls. Let's hope the last act and its activities can keep my engagement till the release of Revenant, but with all of the drama surrounding Bungie and the layoffs and future releases for Destiny, it has made me feel less hopeful for the future of this new episodic format. So folks, that's all I got for today. Comment down below on what your thoughts are about Act 2, and if you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content in the future, make sure to subscribe. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.